Okay, the first step in making our pot Ollas is to block the drain hole in the first pot. The easiest way to do that is get yourself a bit of polyethylene plastic, put it down over the hole, use your silicone to fill up the hole. Now in terms of the type of silicone, I like using the wet area stuff. I don't know that makes a lot of difference. I've tried a few different types and it seems to work okay whichever way you want to do it. With the hole filled, we now have to allow a bit of time for that to set. Now the next part of the process, while it's not critical, can make things a lot easier. You'll notice with the top of these larger pots, they tend to have a flat profile, so not so much of an issue. With the smaller pots, it's more rounded. You can have difficulty getting coverage with the silicone. So with all of them, what I do is just place them on sandpaper, rotate them. I've got the sandpaper stapled down to some timber to hold it steady, and then I just turn it around and I keep doing that until I've got a good flat profile on the top of the pot. Then I do that on the other pot before I put them together. Okay, so the silicone blocking the drain hole of the bottom pot has now gone off. What I'm going to do is join the two pots together, top to top, to make the olla. And I do this by placing a bead of silicone around the top of the pot that's going to be on the bottom. The big hint with this is don't try and rush it. Slow and steady wins the race, and make sure you've got a good solid bead all the way around so you don't get any leaks. Right, I've got a good continuous bead of silicone all the way around the top. I can now fit the top pot. You can move it around a bit if you need to, and hopefully you've got some silicone being squished out from between the two. You can just run a finger around, or thumb in this case, and smooth it all out. One of the things to be careful of if you are making a lot of these guys is when you're spreading the silicone around, make sure you wipe your hands really well between each one. Otherwise, as you're maneuvering them, getting them together, doing the sanding, you can wind up putting a thin coating of silicone over the top of the unglazed terracotta, and then it's not going to be working very well to transmit the water through. So clean hands in this case is really important. So now we're finished with this guy. He's now complete. Just to make absolutely sure, it's always a good idea to put some water in and test him. Make sure that it's holding water, you don't have any leaks that you can fix before it goes in the ground, because once it goes in the ground you're not going to be able to know whether it's leaking or not. Okay, so as a test, I have filled my brand new olla up, once the silicone has had time to cure of course, with water to test it, and as I look around the seam I can see no leaks at all, which is a good thing. But also, if you'll notice through the pottery, we're starting to get some dark discoloration, which shows that the water is starting to move through, which is what we expect it to be doing in the soil.